if a job can be done by a human and it costs $1,000, because you can't really calculate faster than the machines. Then you let the robot do it, it will just cost roughly around $200. AI will make a lot of jobs disappear in the future. How much more information kids get nowadays? It's just completely different now. We still use the same way to teach them. We need to push to change that. Creativity, it's something that is really hard to teach, or some people think creativity cannot be taught. How to teach people creativity? This thing get changed by the Stanford design thinking. We can use this method to teach you how to systematically to make innovations. Design thinking is a methodology that we use here at Stanford to teach people how to make innovations. And we do not make you as innovative or creative as Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. However, we can use this methodology to make you more creative or innovative than yourself. So design thinking has steps that you can follow. The first step is empathize. First, you have to understand who you're inventing for. Are you inventing for your parents, or you're inventing for children who are studying in the school? You have to understand who are the users. Then you empathize with them, especially their emotion. And then you go to the second step, which is called define. A lot of people, they didn't have the right problem to start with. Then you have to define that problem clearly. And then you go to the third step, which is ideation, which is using brainstorming to generate a lot of ideas. And then you kind of get feedbacks from the users. You pick the good ones to prototype. After you do the prototype, which is the fourth step, you do test with the user. And then you get feedback. Maybe the feedback is good, or maybe the feedback is bad, but you have to do redesign or reinvent. We have a phrase called all design is redesign. If you realize, well, I actually didn't define this problem right, then you go back to the step 2. So you have to go in these iterations. Eventually, you will have some very nice inventions. But when you read books or you listen to some lectures, whatever, after you finish in that, you didn't understand it yet. You have to use it several times to really feel it. Let me give you an example. In one of the class at Stanford. So basically this project is about how to get good incubators, get more incubators for the Nepal. At first, actually a lot of people are just trying to say, well, just design it in California. But then we say, well, you have to gain empathy. You need to go to the real place. If you have never been to Nepal, how can you design for that? They actually fly to Nepal and they went to the mountains, and to their surprise, they actually see a lot of these expensive incubators in these medical centers. They actually are not lack of those machines, but they don't know how to operate them. Problem is defined wrong. They have to redefine the problem. And then they went back to these villages and talked with those farmers. We do need those things, but not in these medical centers. We need in our home. We need the cheap ones. So then they actually designed a very cheap, like kind of functioning as a baby incubator, and had very good success. And that's a good example. The problem was defined wrong at first, and then they go into this design thinking process and they find a way to redesign the problem, and then they solve the right problem. The most interesting thing about AI or robotics, there's a few of them. I think the first one is chatgpt, because it's probably a surprise for a lot of people that AI can talk with people in a very natural way, and also it can not only chat with you, it can also write code for you. It seems like it knows a whole lot and it's smarter than a lot of people, and which surprised people. So, and also it's gonna change education for sure, because now kids can use ChatGPT to write essays and do homeworks. So then teachers need to think about how to deal with that. Actually, I just gave my student an assignment yesterday. I asked a student to write an essay. I said, well, you know what? We just talked about ChatGPT in the class. Now I'm gonna give you an assignment to write an essay with the help of ChatGPT. I'm not really asking you to not use it. I ask you to use it. And then after that class, I will have short discussions with each of you and tell me how you use it. How do you feel it? I think that technology advancement, you cannot trying to ignore it or trying to avoid it. It's happening. And it's just like water, you cannot block it. You have to go with it. For me, I want to understand how ChatGPT is going to impact the education system, and I want to work with our students to understand that better. So that's why I gave this homework for my students. I'm a big fan of Autobots, Transformers. I grew up with those cartoons and I'm a big fan of it. Even now, like I'm still a big fan of Optimus Prime. And that really inspired me that I always want to make cool robots like when I was a little kid. And I think most kids, they have a dream when they're young. It's easier to inspire a dream when someone's in early ages. After people grow up, they kind of lose their interest. They lose their dream. They don't know what to do. It's actually critically important for these little minds to have dreams. My ultimate goal is to find out what is the ideal education system for the future. The education part is really important. It has profound impact on the next generation's future. And that's my ultimate goal.